Hey there guys, EctoMaster here, and welcome to the first of hopefully many Legion videos. And yes, this is not alpha or pre-beta or anything like this. This is straight real-time, well, kind of sort of real-time. This was last night. This is me playing my monk. But this is going to be my thoughts on Legion. My initial thoughts, as well as information. So the only way to really give thoughts is to look at the information. So we're going to look at the information first. Now, I only picked two things to look at, and I think because they were the most important ones. We did get a lot of information. It's almost information overload. But I'm looking basically at two panels that they had, and it was the Warcraft Legion game systems and the Legion class and systems community amphitheater discussion. So those are the two things that I'm looking at. I'm going to do this as best as I can. I'm not going to talk about absolutely everything. As I said, it is information overload. So there's going to be I'm going to specifically look at Demon Hunters on a separate day. So probably later this week, maybe within the next couple of days, we're going to see we're going to talk about Demon Hunters. And what better way to talk about Demon Hunters than with a Warlock? That's the plan. I figured at least if I'm going to talk about World of Warcraft, I might as well have World of Warcraft on the screen. So here it is, it's on the screen. Enjoy my fail at being anything. Look, I just play how I play. Leave comments as much as you want. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's go ahead and we're going to start with the main feature, which is artifacts. I would think that artifacts, Demon Hunters, and class halls are probably the main things about this, but we're going to talk about artifacts first. Now, if you've been living under a rock and don't know what artifacts are, let me sum them up. Basically, artifacts are going to be weapons that you get pretty much almost right away that will last you throughout the entire expansion pack. That is correct. Not that you're never ever going to get another artifact, but these artifacts, or another weapon, these artifacts are going to follow you through at least Legion. So you're going to get them right around level 100. They're going to last you all the way up to the end of the expansion pack until the next. So, very powerful weapons. And these aren't just random weapons in the world either. It's not go pick up a knife from this guy. Here, he sells you a dagger. Buy it from him. No, this is more go get Doomhammer. Go get shards from Frostmourne. Go get Ashbringer. That kind of thing. It's going to be epic. So to kind of give you an idea of the type of weapons, I just named three parts. They talked about specifically the Deadwind Harvester. And basically the Deadwind Harvester purged the life from Deadwind Pass. It's going to be for Affliction Warlocks. So that kind of gives you an idea of what kind of weapons we're talking about. Now, as you go through the expansion pack, you'll be able to level up your weapon. So it's going to, it's not just going to be this simple little thing where, ooh, I got a weapon and it just goes with me. No, it's actually going to have its own talent tree system. So that's pretty cool as well. And eventually they said that you will unlock everything on the talent tree system. It's just not going to unlock as you level. It is going to unlock as you level, but not the whole entire thing. It's going to be lasting until at least the end. So, with that being said, let's talk about artifacts. So, artifact power comes from quest bosses, rare spawns, rare drops, dungeons, raids, battlegrounds, and arenas. The artifact power is what you use, basically, to upgrade your weapon. Artifact traits are unlocked by artifact power. You start with some traits unlocked. You first unlock active traits that you put on your bar. After the active trait, this is not edited very well. After the active trait, there are more choices, some of them passive. Minor traits have multiple ranks, you have to unlock them all to progress into the tree. Eventually you can unlock every trait in the tree, but it will take months into the expansion. You can keep getting smaller power increases after that, so weapon will get more powerful throughout the expansion. Relics. So, relics are going to be gems, and they can be socketed into the artifact to increase power, increases item level, and gives bonus ranks to some traits. Go from 3 to 4 or 5 ranks in a trait, giving you some customization. There are 2 types of relics for each weapon. You can eventually upgrade your artifact. Dungeon and world content lead up to a big upgrade moment. Upgrade will unlock a new model. You can also get other models from different types of gameplay, as well as different colors, and finish questing zones or do something that is significant to your weapon. So that's basically artifacts in a nutshell. Because, of course, we only know so much to begin with. We only know what they told us. Which is really cool. I like this idea. And the fact that, excuse me, as it says, you'll be able to upgrade your artifact. I almost think it like, the garrison. Whenever you upgraded your garrison, there was this like big cinematic thing. I think that's what they're going to be doing again, which is pretty damn cool. I'm not going to deny that. Just to kind of go over more a little bit with artifacts, all the caster artifact weapons that they are one-handers do have offhands, and I think I saw sword and board as well in some of the pictures, so that's awesome. The further you are behind on the artifact as you go through the expansion, the easier it is to place new traits into your artifact. It is pretty quick to get mostly caught up when switching specs. If you are trying to maintain off specs, you can do that to a certain degree. It only becomes a burden if you're trying to keep many specs all topped off at once. And alts will have a catch-up mechanism for artifacts, so that's awesome to hear. I also think that what they were talking about, where if you're further behind on the artifact, say, for example, because they did say that questing is going to be quest how you want and not, just a linear path. They did say that, basically, if you're at Zone 2, and by this point you should have 4 things unlocked, but you only have 2, it'll become a little bit easier to unlock the other 2 as you're questing in the new area. That's what I am getting from that statement. So that is artifacts, and the artifact things are already up, so you can kind of see what each class is getting, and each spec as well. So these aren't going to be spec specific. Yeah. I stumble over all the... Man, I can't speak today. Alright, so let's talk about classes and class halls. So, class halls, they got the idea basically from the garrison. That's where it is, but it's a garrison simplified. Basically, everything that you do in a garrison, you will be able to do. It'll be like, you will take the part, you will have minions, but you will yourself be a minion. If you get what I understand. I call them the followers minions. So you're gonna have, like missions that you're gonna do that you normally would have sent, followers to go out and do, but you will do them. And there'll be, perks for you, not like, oh, go do this and nothing's gonna happen. It is gonna have perks, so I do know that. To talk about class halls. Class halls needed to be in a location that strongly represents the class. You should feel like a class when you are in that space. Class orders are stepping up to fight the Legion. They talked about one of the class halls, and that's the Dream Grove. And that's going to be for druids. You will find a shrine in your class hall to unlock traits and work with your artifact. Class champions are also found in your class hall. Some of them are leaders of their own factions. You will unfold their backstory over time and see them in the world. You will interact with your scouting map in your class hall. It lets you select your starting leveling zone, and you come back to it for new content later on. There is class-specific content in the halls, such as demon hunting quests or pickpocketing quests. There are lots of features and bonuses in the halls. Some are shared among many classes, such as armor stands to show off tier sets you have earned from previous content. Hunters have a lodge in High Mountain, getting access to special flight path network no one else has. Druids can reach many other natural places in the world very quickly. Warriors can spar in an arena for bragging rights, and every class will have their own variation of Deathgate to quickly get to their class hall and back. And apparently a giant eagle takes you for hunters. That sounds pretty cool. Continuing with classes, the team is putting a lot of focus into improving the fantasy of each class, so you really feel different, unique, and caught up in your class's fantasy. Visuals, animations, and sounds for many classes have also been improved. Specs, survival, shadow, demonology, subtlety, combat, discipline are all getting big changes. I know survival is going to a melee spec, and combat has been changed. Its name has been changed. It's now called Outlaw. So, yeah, they completely redid that spec. The team originally was going to keep the changes under control, but this ended up being one of the expansions with the most changes to classes after development got going. When we see the beta, players shouldn't look at balance yet. There hasn't been numbers tuning, and blah blah blah, giving feedback. If a few classes are too strong, the team doesn't want to buff everyone else to that level because all of the encounters would have to be adjusted. Over the years, they have tended to do this anyway, which makes older content easier and easier. The power inflation isn't great. Nerfs get a lot of attention, and the buffs, which there are more of, don't get nearly as much attention. When every spec has something unique, distinct, and different that only they can do, it accentuates the idea that you are special to the world. There are enough numbers being rolled in combat that any RNG evens out. It is more about there being a little bit of unpredictability to respond to in combat. And then lots of the major glyphs that are being removed are being added to the core ability. To kind of get into specific roles in classes, specifically healing and tanking. Healers should always have something to do. And Legion, when you're doing group PvE content, you will notice that you can do a lot more damage than you could before when you choose to spend globals and resources on it. When you're overgearing the content, the damage you do in your spare time will go from close to meaningless now to being a useful contribution to the raid in Legion. You should be able to level as a healer, so when you are playing solo, you should be able to do substantial damage. Druids having thorns again will help. Things attacking you will take substantial damage. Absorbs are a little bit less powerful, have longer cooldowns, and there are less of them in Legion. Paladins won't be causing absorb shields anymore, as their mastery has changed. Discipline mastery has also changed. Tanking. Active mitigation is still a big part of what you do, but it went in too strong. If you messed up the active mitigation, you died, so it mattered too much. Active mitigation should be designed to where the expert player can get more out of it, but the newer player isn't awful. It is less about managing your resources and more about using the right button at the right time, and the magnitude of the effects are going down a little bit. It is still a very large part of what tanks do. All of your long cooldowns like Shield Wall will count as if active mitigation is running while they are running. Tanks have buttons that give tank or, I think this is tank or offense functionality. I don't know. But the team is trying to do more things that have both. Oh, I see what they're saying. Okay. Tanks have buttons that give tank or offense functionality. If you're trying to DPS really hard as a tank, that should translate to being a good tank at the same time. Resolve is gone. The abilities that relied on it have been designed to not rely on it anymore. For Brewmaster, the active mitigation buttons either give you a gigantic stagger buff or cleanse your stagger. You want to use them in tandem. There. I'm tripping over the words. There's too many things. Anyways, so there you have it. Those are classes and class fantasy and healing and tanking and class halls. What else is there? It's said there's going to be multiple things I'm talking about. Keeping with classes. Classes, immersive. You should feel like everything you do is involved with class. Abilities, names, animations. Distinct. Every class and spec should have something unique. Empowering. Your character is powerful. Total control over what you are doing. Use abilities the way you want to use them. Death Knight. Runes. Restricted gameplay. So there are now 6 runes. One type. Don't worry about what types are off cooldown anymore. As a Frost DK, this is all I worried about, is whether or not I had runes to begin with. That's all that mattered. It used to matter a lot more. Since I got Obliterate, all I do is just hit that 3 times and I'm done. That's all that comes down to. As I'm knocking things over. Fury Warriors, controlled by how many charges you have of different things. Use Enraging Blow as much as you want. Use Whirlwind. Don't worry about Meat Cleaver. Arcane charges are a resource in addition to mana rather than a buff to monitor. Arcane has a strong fantasy that you really don't feel while playing, but mana management could ruin things. New mastery, Savant, increases the amount of mana you have. Mana level doesn't matter anymore, also increases charges damage. Survival Hunter, melee spec with pets side by side. All the abilities are back and awesome. Disc Priest were a different flavor of holy, but not good enough. Atonement is now core healing mechanic. Now heal by dealing damage to enemies. I think this is really cool, as I do play a Disc Priest, not just for healing, but for DPS. So this becomes one of those like hybrid classes, where you're a DPS and a heal, and that's that spec as well. So that makes it, for me, that's really, really awesome. I like that. That's basically what I was doing anyways. Subtlety Rogue had a really cool ninja fantasy. Shadow Dance was pretty cool, but it is now a passive. 20% chance to re-enter stealth that doesn't break from taking damage. You can figure out what you want to do. New opener, combos, finisher, repeat. Shadow Strike teleports to target. New ambush, level damage, opener. Honor Among Thieves is gone. Demonology should be about summoning demons, not becoming one. More new minions, buff them, and send them out to attack. Metamorphosis is for demon hunters. Guardian Druid should be a giant bear, not dodging. Now about increased health, armor, and survivability. Shadow Priest was poor cousin of Affliction Warlock. Tapping into the void. Insanity, no more mana or shadow orbs, going more insane. Grow tentacles, transform into void form, makes you more and more powerful the longer you stay there. Can only stay there for so long. Insanity drains away, keep generating as much as you can. And then talents will have less theme rows, more meaningful choices, more spec-specific talents, and hundreds of new talents. That is awesome. Now, I am going to do a video that's a little more specific on classes, and like I said, I think that'll be on Wednesday or Thursday. We'll break down, because on a MMO Champion, they actually break down almost each and every class. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so there's just 2 that are missing. But we'll talk about it. We'll get a little more into it on another day. Alright, what else do we want to talk about on this inaugural first video? There's not much. But we'll go ahead and talk about professions, because they did talk about them, and there seems to be a lot coming. And then we'll talk about transmog as well, and I am excited for that, so we'll talk about it. Professions, more stuff to do. Recipes, all coming from the trainer, is gone. You should get into the world. You should get out into the world and carve your own path. Go on adventures. So basically, you're not going to get recipes from the trainer. You're just going to go out and you'll find them in the world, which is awesome. I like that. That's good. So for example, as I said, tailoring sends you to Dalaran. Wants to know what cloth is like in Broken Isles. Broken Isles. You go get some cloth, sew with her, make a robe. Cloth is falling apart and not working. Oh no. Go out into the world, meet a Nightfallen who helps you with sewing problem, teaches you more patterns, find out why he was exiled, why he is so good at tailoring. So it kind of gives you a story as well. It's pretty cool. Miners learn from a dead Tauren, more efficiently mining new materials like laystone, the new ore. Mining and herb nodes will be shared. Everyone can gather from a node. No more stealing nodes. This is awesome, because that was always a problem back in the day. Now that we don't have a garrison where we can go and just get ore, this will be good. Recipes have ranks, 1 to 3 star recipes. Rare, make you more efficient at crafting things, less materials, shorter cooldown, like that. The UI for professions is getting an update. Bigger window, list on the left, details on the right, favorites at the top, so you can favorite thingies. Yeah, you know what I mean. Learned and unlearned tabs, so you can see what you don't know and where to find them, which is nice. Obliterum, build a big forge in the middle of Dalaran. Convert crafted items you don't need anymore into Obliterum. Create ring. So, for example, with jewel crafters, you create a ring, it has the wrong stats, destroy it, and make Obliterum. Use it to increase power of the ring you are wearing. Lots of things to do with professions. Shouldn't be running out of content. Crafted gear should be special. Helms are made out of gun parts. Shoot bullets at enemies with your head. Next from jewel crafters have guaranteed gem slot. Class specific buffs. 15% more speed for warrior when enraged. Example. Inscription. Major glyphs are gone. No! I know. Everybody's no. Still have minor glyphs and dark moon traits. Glyphs are a consumable applied directly to the spell. 1 glyph per spell, but no limit on total glyphs. Ventus Rune, week-long buff that targets a specific boss. 10% bonus damage on Xavius, for example. Archaeology expansion length campaign over several months. Lots of cool things to display, wear, equip, and pets. Cooking, Nami comes from Pandaria. More recipes can make bacon, yes! Fishing, more like an adventure, less what you are watching on your other monitor, which is nice. Let me look at the other end. I don't think... Let's go... I'm going to go ahead... Gonna go ahead and get into some miscellaneous and items, and then we'll call it a day with this. And then the next one that we do will be, about classes and stuff. So, miscellaneous, people say that there's nothing to do in Warlords, but that isn't really true. There's nothing to do that gives a rewards that you care about. In Legion, the goal is to make the outdoor world, quests, dungeons, and raids all have things that you care about, so that there are reasons to do them at max level. The transmog system will include old quests that have been removed. There's a chance a few quests were modified that shouldn't have been, but they will handle those on per quest basis. I'll go ahead and get into raiding. Raiding, it used to be a bigger problem to have a melee heavy raid in the past. The problem isn't solved right now, but it is better than it used to be. Having lots of melee does make it a little harder to learn a new boss. The data shows that people switch specs from melee to ranged, then ranged to melee because of that perception. Melee does need to do more damage than ranged on patchwork-style fights to deal with the problem. Time Walker raids are a cool idea, but the time has not come yet. Maybe in the future, the team is talking about revisiting some of the old raids in a new way. The team is fixing the boss movement issues in patch 6.2.3. Thank the engineers. And finally, let's get into items. Used to have rare world drops. They are back. Rare drops from anywhere in the world. Power should be relevant throughout the entire expansion. And unique effects, role, class, spec-based effects, movement speed increase based on haste, extra range from blocked attacks, etc. World drops are legendary, or as they put, legendary. DOT has a chance to trigger full remaining effect each time they tick. Lots of world drop variety. Drops aren't fully random. We'll have ways for you to get to target them. All of the Legion items can scale, can be the best item in the gear, super rare. Duplicate personal loot can now be traded. If you have an item that is equal or less than power level of what you have, can trade it to anyone else who was eligible for loot. Transmog, this is the big one. Clean up bank and inventory some more customization, a collection system. Wardrobe, as soon as the item is bound to you, appearance is unlocked. Once it is unlocked, you can get rid of it. Account wide. Have to be able to equip the item to unlock it. There's a new Transmog UI. Left side is the same as the old one. Right side is a visual gallery of models. Top has a bar that shows you how many appearances you have unlocked. Outfits. Make item sets. Store what you like now. Link outfits to other people, even if everything isn't unlocked. When you log into Legion, all of the items you have unlocked, as well as items from every quest you have ever completed, including items you didn't even pick. Save different outfits per spec. Switch set when you switch specs. You can hide slots, cloak, helm, and now shoulders per outfit. Weapon and chance shirts and tabards for Transmog. And I think that about covers everything I wanted to talk about today. Like I said, we'll get into the class specifics in another video. I'm super excited. I like a lot of what they're doing. I'm as a Frost DK, I'm kind of worried that I'm not going to be a two-hander anymore because it looks like they're going with a two one-handers for their sword, and I'm a little wary of that because I've always used the two-handed sword, and to be quite honest, the freaking starting zone, you either get a two-handed axe or a two-handed sword. You don't get one-handers at all for any Death Knight. It doesn't matter what spec you are. You don't get it. So I'm worried that I'm going to be forced into the two one-handed thing because I don't want to be forced into that. I've been a two-hander since Wrath came out, and now I may have to be two one-handers. I just don't think that's when a class like that is set for it. You know, you should be able to. Like, right now I can switch, so there you have it. Other than that, I'm excited for everything that is coming. I cannot wait to see what comes out of all this. It should be fun and exciting and new, and that is where it all comes down to. I love that they're going back to the classes and redoing them and refining them. This seems to be like a very heavy expansion. They're creating a new world, a new continent. They're redoing the entire classes. Every class and every spec they're redoing. They're putting in this new transmog system. They're putting in this artifact system. It's fantastic what they're doing. And I can't wait to see what else is there. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I'm EctoMaster. Don't forget to subscribe, like, favorite, comment, all of that down below. And we'll be back in the next couple of days with another video of these. Just kind of going over some of the information. We're going to look at the classes. We'll look at the demon hunters and whatnot. The information that they gave out. And so, there you have it. And until then, I will see you guys next time.